Hello, myself Sunil here. Basically, we are discussing the topic that is city creation. In this city creation, basically infrastructure basically creation is ongoing. 1,000 cities equal to contains what are all the things basically. 7 days basically the Ram Janma Bhoomi group people told that basically they can give you 7 days basically. If that data basically is not merged into this, then what are the things going to happen? That is going to affect basically. Then it will that basically mostly it will affect basically. Mostly basically it will affect basically. Then one of the person told that basically the Ram Janma Bhoomi database is data that is the temple basically which is getting created. That is created how basically? Then he told that basically data dumped into the human bodies. For example, when Ram Janma Bhoomi was going to prepare, or basically there basically the Babri Masjid case was ongoing, right? Basically, then he told that yes, basically. Two possibilities was there basically. One was Babri Masjid and another was Ram Janma Bhoomi. So each and every group basically dumped their energy basically. Ram Janma Bhoomi group told that basically we can give 7 days. According to that basically they dumped the data into the Hindus group basically, right? They basically don't forcefully, they don't enter anything basically into the body. If you are going into the Hanuman temples, if you are going to the Ram temples or basically Krishna God temples, if you are going to the Swaminarayan temples, if you are going to the Shiv Shankar temples, they basically give you sweets basically, prasad they basically. You drink water basically, you go basically there. That time basically your body basically contains the blood cells basically. Then you know that all are basically the Ram Janma Bhoomi data basically, which is getting processed inside the body basically. And another side basically was the Babri Masjid group basically. They also basically done this type of activity basically. Then it was that yes basically. They also done the activity basically. And their data also basically was taken basically. Because here Babri Masjid was also there basically. So you can't ignore that basically. So in Ram Janma Bhoomi basically when the Babri Masjid was also added, so whenever basically you will see the stone basically of the Ram Mandir basically, that contains Muslim data also basically. That is the Babri Masjid data basically which was entered into the temple stone basically. Why? Because their Babri Masjid basically was there basically. And after that basically the Ram Janma Bhoomi basically prepared. So that you have to prepare basically. Then he told that yes basically. That basically by default basically the Supreme Court and High Court basically have passed the thing basically how basically the things is going to prepare basically. After that only basically they have given the permission basically. So like this basically they have given the permission basically. Then he told that yes basically. So everything from where this every stone basically is coming, how basically the cements are coming, how basically the white cements are coming, how basically it's coming basically. They are coming from the human body energy basically, and which is processed by the set of nuclear power company basically. Assume that basically that nuclear power company is in Maharashtra. Assume basically, in really basically it might be where that basically we also don't know. They basically takes the energy from each and every person's body basically, who has eaten the prasad, who has eaten the this that basically from they basically has went to the temple. That's why only basically they have basically had the energy basically. So that energy was taken basically. So one of the person told that basically whichever the things basically are sweets basically are prepared, then the mithais basically are prepared. See basically sweets images. See this whole images basically is given in the prasad basically. Then he told that yes basically. So this all contains the raw material of the Ram Janma Bhoomi. So this all basically are used in preparing the stone basically. This is one thing basically. Then basically sometime basically you do the agarbattis, their smells basically gets into that, and then basically you eat each and every foods material. There also basically data basically are entered. Like this each and everything basically get processed, and the data was processed long before basically. That's why basically you are able to get the stone basically, and that's why basically how the temple basically how basically it was created basically. So lots of people say that they are basically the temple which is created. Lots of people say that Muslim basically can't enter into the temple basically, right? But you have taken the data of Babri Masjid group also basically. Babri Masjid group basically, who are basically the top level group basically, they know that basically that Muslim groups are also basically, data are also basically taken basically. Their data are also basically taken. And in one more thing basically here, Christian, Parsi, their data basically are taken. Then he told that basically need to check the words basically which are used by the Ram shlok basically, that is the Aarti basically, whenever the whenever basically the Aarti happens in the Ram temple, that time which all are the words basically taken. If that words basically are connected with the Parsi group basically, then their data are also taken. If it's connected to the Christian group basically, then their data are also taken basically. For example, Amin data. Amin data basically, assume that basically that data is taken basically in the Ram Aarti basically. So that contains Hindu also, that contains Muslim also, that contains Christian also basically. And Parsi basically, for example, Parsi books are basically also there basically. So there basically some words basically are basically connected with the only Parsi group only basically. So their words are also taken basically. So word equal to what basically? Word equal to thousands of planets basically. Thousands of character, set of characters, and set of characters basically contains thousands of planets basically. So like this basically data are basically taken. So this basically keeps on updating. Then he told that yes, this keeps on updating. Here basically one of the person was 1000 city तो बन चुका है ना basically. 1000 cities already created basically. How basically they are going to add one more cement basically every time basically, and color basically they are going to do. Then he told that no basically they are not going to do like that basically. The season group basically are there. They are handling the each and every 1000 cities basically. They are basically nothing basically supposed to do the creation. Creation is already done basically. Then basically one person told that basically when creation basically gets changed basically, that is basically when 22 blood group basically has created. That 22 blood group basically were not able to accept that one person basically. I had taken one example basically, and that one person basically created his own blood group basically. That time basically this 1000 text box is going to change 100%. And that time basically, until basically that's not getting created, you can't sit into the computer basically. So that possibilities are also basically there basically. You can't sit into in the computer basically for 2 to 3 hours also. Why? Because 22 blood groups are doing the process basically. But what about the new blood cells basically, new blood group which has came basically, which creation is ongoing, and his data basically has merged with the entire environment basically. That environment basically is not able to understand this data basically, and mismatch is happening, and you can't say this everything basically is mismatching. Then how basically you can sit into the computer basically, sit in the computer basically. So like these things are also basically there. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this.